Hi, my name is Amber and I'm a tither. Honestly, I started tithing at a very young age. I was taught about the concept of tithing and generosity in particular with regards to my church. And so even as a young teenager, as a baby, when I had my first jobs like babysitting, I was setting aside my tithe or my 10% to give back to my church, even just all the way back to a teenager. There was times where in my late teens or more my young adulthood that I fell away from that for like a few years, but the concept's always been there and a consistent thing that I've done for pretty much ever since I've earned money on my own. Well, my understanding of what the word tithing means is that you are giving 10% of, at least 10%, actually 10% of anything that you earn back to God. And I personally believe the best vehicle to do that is the local church. So I advocate for that 10% going to the local church, and then anything that's above that 10% I would consider an offering. And that's kind of like going above and beyond the minimum. And that I personally choose to sometimes give to my local church, but I also might use it to support another kind of ministry, such as Compassion or the Timothy Initiative. Sometimes if there's like a disaster going on, I might donate through Samaritan's Purse as an offering, but that doesn't take the place of what I tithe to my local church. It's a humbling experience that reminds me that everything I have is truly a gift, and that it can all be gone at any time. It's all a gift from God that He's entrusted to me, and I get the opportunity to steward it. And when I'm giving back and tithing, it's a very real reminder and a spiritual exercise of humility for me on a personal level, to also just test and trust, like, do I really trust God as my provider and that He will give me everything I need. So I do have a family, and I have a lot of expenses because kids are expensive. And so it can be scary, it's for sure. And right now, this season culturally that a lot of us are walking through, it is very uncertain, and it is scary at times. But basically my attitude is, it's not like, like I paid my bills and I got my groceries, now let's see if I have anything left in the checking account to put $20 in the offering plate. It is actually in my monthly budget, and it is like, it's part of my bills, not because like it's a bill and like it's a negative thing, but I say that because I very strongly believe, and I operate this way in my life and in my business, that you automate and you systematize things that are important to you. Everything will rise and fall on what systems you have in place. So if you don't have a system in place for regularly giving and tithing, then it's eventually going to fall away. So I just have it as part of my system. So it's part of what I do with my monthly budget and my bills, and it's just included as part of that. And often whenever income comes in, that is the very first thing I go to pay before I even get to any bills that might be coming due. So that's kind of my approach to it. The other thing, like I said, these times have been really uncertain, and I know a lot of people, such as our family, are walking through a season where your income has gone down. and you're not bringing in as much as maybe you used to. And first of all, I just want to validate. I understand how scary that can be, because we are seriously, we are walking through that firsthand ourselves as a family. But despite that change in our income that has come in the recent couple of years, it has never ever occurred to me when I went to go and trim the budget and see where we could make cuts to cut out my giving, including giving that we do above and beyond our local church. So there's a couple of organizations that we support after we give to our local church, and not once have I ever considered going back to those organizations and canceling the giving that they rely upon me to faithfully execute as I committed to do. So that's kind of my thoughts on it. That's my mindset and my approach. I just I feel like living a generous life will always come back to bless you. And I'm not saying like, oh, if you are generous with your tithe and whatever, that you're going to become a millionaire and that you're going to become prosperous. I'm not speaking that at all. Maybe the Lord will choose to do that. I don't know. But generosity comes back to you in so many ways. And most of the time it's not financial. And you always walk away being the most blessed. And so that's just kind of my mindset and my approach to the whole topic.